Greatness begins where reaction ends. Most people think greatness is bred, something you are born with, something other people have, talent, confidence, charisma, luck. But what if that idea is wrong? What if what people call greatness is actually something quieter, harder, and far more demanding? Inner strength, not dominance, not perfection, not being admired. Inner strength is the ability to remain whole, clear, and human when life gives you every reason not to. And at its core, this strength comes down to one choice: whether you continue to care about other human beings, even when everything invites you to stop. That is what this video is about. Hi, I'm Shirley from AXSIOM. One truth understood in thought can change your life. Here is the uncomfortable truth. Most people never reach greatness, not because they lack ability, but because they misunderstand what greatness actually is. Greatness is not doing extraordinary things. It is doing ordinary things without abandoning your humanity under pressure. A great person is not someone who never fails. A great person is someone who does not turn against love when things go wrong. When something goes wrong, most people look away. They blame circumstances. They blame people. They harden. A great person does the opposite. They stay present. They stay responsible. They stay human. That is the difference. One of the hardest things a person can do is to continue to care about others, even when they give you every reason not to. Not because people deserve it, not because it is easy, but because choosing to care is what keeps you whole. This is where real greatness shows up. Not in being nice, not in excusing harm, but in refusing to make hatred, bitterness, or contempt take over your inner life. Because the moment you give in to hatred, something in you collapses. Not them, you. The ability to remain open, steady, and human, even in the face of disappointment, betrayal, or hostility, is one of the clearest signs of real strength. When a person can do this, there is hope, not just for the situation, but for humanity itself. But when someone cannot, when hatred becomes the answer, love shrinks into resentment, anger, despair, and those states do not produce clarity. They do not produce happiness. They do not produce greatness. People will invite you to hate, sometimes openly, sometimes subtly. They want you to join them in outrage, to mirror their anger, to abandon your own decency. And sometimes, yes, action is required, boundaries are required, distance is required. But hatred is never required. You can act without becoming cruel. You can protect yourself without losing your care for humanity. That choice is where greatness lives. That is where inner strength is built. Another sign of real greatness is being able to do what matters to you without becoming consumed by anger toward the people who try to stop you. Anyone can act when they are supported. Greatness shows up when you are opposed. The moment rage takes over, you lose clarity, you lose choice, and happiness disappears. Not because others won, but because you surrendered your inner life. Remaining open toward others in the face of resistance is not weakness, it is strength with discipline. Greatness is not about forgiveness. Forgiveness still starts with judgment. You decide someone was wrong, and then you decide to release it. Real greatness does something harder. It refuses to become smaller, colder, or cruel because of someone else's behavior. A great person does not harden. They do not collapse inward. They do not turn against humanity. They stay themselves, and they can do that because they understand something essential. people are not acting from nowhere. They are reacting to pressure. Everyone is caught in something. Some are unaware of it. Some are overwhelmed by it. Some are repeating what was done to them. Understanding this does not excuse harm, but it allows you to respond without losing your humanity. And when hatred is no longer necessary, love becomes a conscious choice, not sentimental love, not approval, but the decision to remain human toward other humans. That is why greatness is not dramatic. It is stable. It is love under pressure. Let me give you a real example. Imagine someone at work who is constantly criticized, undermined, spoken to sharply. Most people react in one of two ways. They harden and become resentful, or they withdraw and stop caring. But someone with real inner strength does something different. They set boundaries. They stay grounded. They do their work with integrity. And most importantly, they refuse to turn that pressure into hatred. They do not gossip. They do not sabotage. They do not quietly wish harm. They stay decent, not because the other person deserves it, but because they refuse to let someone else's behavior decide who they become. That person sleeps better, thinks more clearly, keeps their confidence. Not because the situation is easy, but because they stayed whole inside it. That is what this looks like in real life. Some people live under pressure and still go on doing their work. They stay responsible. They stay decent. Others collapse under that same pressure. They dominate. They harm. They destroy, trying to rescue those who have already collapsed. Is not always possible. Greatness is not about saving everyone. It's about refusing to become worse because others have. Knowing when to help. Knowing when to step back. Knowing when understanding is enough. As you grow stronger, your capacity to help expands naturally. Until then, the work is simple and demanding. Do not let cruelty change who you are. Greatness does not come from conquest. It does not come from recognition. It does not come from being feared. Greatness comes from staying true to your own decency, from continuing to care about humanity, even when humanity disappoints you. People act badly in predictable ways, sometimes for order, but with hatred, sometimes for safety, but only for themselves, sometimes from cruelty. Order maintained through hatred creates fear, not stability. Total chaos is not strength either. Life without care collapses. Capable people create order without cruelty. They maintain structure while preserving humanity. But when discipline becomes hatred, something essential dies. So here is the real lesson. Never use what is done to you as a reason to stop loving humanity. Never turn pain into hatred. Never turn disappointment into contempt. That does not protect you. It diminishes you. It takes real strength to love human beings, despite all invitations not to. Hatred feels powerful for a moment, but it corrodes from the inside. Strength and happiness endure only where love remains. Love, understood clearly, is not softness. It is steadiness. It is clarity. It is a refusal to let cruelty decide who you become. To love humanity despite everything is not naive. It is the highest form of strength. And that is what greatness actually is. Before you move on, one small thing. If this helped you see something more clearly, tap like. It tells the algorithm this kind of thinking matters, and it helps it reach people who are looking for depth, not noise. And if you want more tools like this, subscribe and turn on notifications. This channel is not about motivation you forget. It's about ideas you actually apply. Now, one important reminder. Do not believe this because I'm saying it. Do not agree with it because it sounds right. Test it. Notice what happens when you stop reacting and choose to stay human. Notice what changes when you refuse hatred and remain present. What is true for you is what works when you apply it in your own life. That is the only truth that matters. So here is your challenge. In the next 24 hours, notice one moment where you would normally harden, withdraw, or react, and instead choose to stay human. Choose composure over rage. Choose care over contempt. Not to be nice, not to be passive, but to stay whole. Apply it once, observe the result, and if something shifted for you or this changed how you see strength, share what you noticed or realized in the comments. Your insight helps others think more clearly too. In the next video, we take this one step further because loving humanity is not abstract. The next video is about help, what real help actually is, when it works, when it harms, and how to help others without losing yourself or trying to save everyone. I will see you there.